Well, hello, and welcome, my Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. Welcome to your Mercury Retrograde read for this February to March Mercury Retrograde. We're actually looking at the 16th of February until the 9th of March, which is also a full moon. Very, very interesting thing. I am your reader, Mark Angela Lyons Mal for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and really happy to be serving my Aquarian friends. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, making my way to 1,000 subscribers so I can do super live chat and other cool stuff, including Drunk Tarot, which I think the link is in the box for that. I'll check before I post. It really should be, if not. If you are new to my channel, I say this every time, because you have to nowadays on YouTube. This is a general read, my darlings. It's not going to fit everybody absolutely every single time. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and in this case, because it is Mercury Retrograde, your Mercury signs. You can go online. All you need to know is your date of birth and location, helpful time of date for your rising sign, but that's not new. That's just how it's been for a really, really long time, thousands of years. So that being said, please do check your other signs. This reading is specifically about looking how Mercury Retrograde is working for you. That it's happening for you, not to you, because in and of itself, it's a planet of air. It's Hermes, Mercury, right? So to keep in mind, it's a lot about thought, right? It's a lot of air magic, and you're an air sign. So please keep in mind that this is happening for you, and that part of the trick that I've been calling it Hermes trick for a long time is to see it as yes, an ability to pull back and look at things differently, right? Absolutely, you're good at that, Aquarians. You're fixed air, you're the stratosphere, right? Literally fixed air, frozen air. So you like to see the larger picture, but this is about the re's, like to review, to rethink, to reponder, to reconsider, as well as there can be reconciliations, renewals, rebirths, all that kind of stuff too. And you know the standard, don't sign contracts. Why? Because you want to make sure that they're absolutely crystal clear where they might be a little foggy during Mercury retrograde, because you know the planet doesn't actually go backwards. Retrogrades are not literal. They appear because of the orbits and where we are on planet Earth in relation to these planets. They appear to go backwards, but they don't. So it is an optical and a mental illusion. I think people drive themselves crazy with Mercury retrograde, using it as a scapegoat, forgetting that in fifth dimensional unity consciousness and above, everything that happens to us is happening for the evolution of the soul, but we get to choose free will. We get to choose how we want to see it, right? What's the narrative that we create, which determines our psychological reality. I mean, you talk about creating reality. We create it on that level first, right? Before anything else happens out here, how we react or respond. So this reading is about what do you need to look at. We're going to be using an element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. You'll like it. It's pentacle spread, essentially. We're going to start with Daughters of the Moon Tarot. All the decks I read are always in the description box at the bottom. We'll lay down 5 of those, then 5 of the Healing with the Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue, so you'll get 10 in that fire, earth, air, water, spirit, which is lovely. We'll get you one Chuck Spezzano Love Pack card for the Voices of the Ascended Masters, a Whispers of Love Oracle for the voices of your higher self, and we will end with the Healing Mantra deck, Matt Kahn, for the Voices of the Ascended Masters and the Angels too, because that's him. Like, he's all Ascended Masters and Angels. I work with gods and goddesses and angels and other shit, so cool. Please remember to breathe, and I'm doing this time around. For some reason they told me to do this. I studied with a Sufi master briefly, a long time ago, back in the 90s, and he taught me this element breath, that there are 4 elements, air, fire, water, earth, and each one has its own breathing pattern, because there are only 4 ways to get oxygen into the body, right? So the one for air is in through the mouth, out through the mouth. Notice it's getting the most amount of oxygen in and the most carbon dioxide out. However, this ain't pretty in public. What's more acceptable is the water in through the nose, out through the mouth. So I'm going to be focusing on my breathing, trying to keep it as conscious as I can while I'm reading, because it actually slows me down in a good way, so I'm not so as the energy comes through. But if you are conscious of your breath at the same time, and if no one's watching, mouth breathe. You know, you don't have to big lung bucket breath. You know, like, you don't have to Wim Hof your way all the way through it. If you know what I mean. Wim Hof, oh my God, he's amazing. That said, so if you're present in the moment, I'm present in the moment, we all get more out of the reading. So let's get down to biz, shall we? Nice deep breath, my Aquarians. Oh, one more. Still point. My gods and goddesses, please, element spread, top 5 cards for this Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs for this Mercury retrograde from February to March 2020, please. What do they need to rethink? What do they need to relook at? What do they need to look at about their desire, element of fire, what they want? What do they need to kind of pull back and retrograde, reconsider what they want? What do they need to reconsider, relook at what they have, element of earth? What do they need to reconsider about what they think, element of air, what they feel, element of water, and element of spirit, a lens, a higher viewpoint, the point of view of the soul or the spirit that they can see the fire, earth, air, and water from. A lovely spiritual celestial lens, please. My gods, for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury side, this Mercury retrograde, February to March, Maiden, Mother, Crone. Maiden, Mother, Crone. That felt really smooth at the end. Let's have a look. Element of fire. What you desire, what you burn for, what you choose, right? What you decide for. Your intention, all of that good stuff. But in a retrograde, it's like, okay, let me take another look at, rethink my desire, what it is that I want. Well, and pretty heavy duty, we start out of the gate, with a major arcana card, the Chariot, right? Certainly about wanting to move forward, to take control, to move forward, to plow through. Now you can see she's got a crescent moon shield there. This is the Amazon in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. A little Wonder Woman-esque going on there for sure. But the channeling of the positive and the negative, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, right? So that you can even get the intellect and the emotion and enlightenment so that the choice is congruent. In other words, the head's not saying yes and the heart's saying no. Now, that is also indicative in the card of the Lovers with the masculine and the feminine. But here in the light and the dark, it can really be about those pulling forces of, well, I really don't gotta go to work today, but I really should. But I don't really want to, but I really should, you know, like that back and forth, back and forth. How do you get out of bed, right? How do you motivate yourself? What's your Mars warrior energy? But of course, with the crescent moon there is that touch of water. Even in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, right? You've got those crescent moons on the shoulders of the charioteer. But if you look, one is comedy, one is tragedy. Virgo. Virgos look for the deets. We always look for the details, right? The devil seems to be in them. So that you need to relook at that, right? Maybe check your animus balance on that, your yin, your yang. What's the element of earth that you need to reconsider, rethink, relook at? 2 major arcana cards in a row. Out of 5, that says something. This is the dreamer, the fool. So where you are right now, you may be at a place where it's like, I am going to take the leap of faith. Now remember, it is the 0 card, not the 1. People say it's the first card in the major arcana. Not entirely true. The Magician in this deck, the Witch, is the first card of the major arcana. Makes it cycle around to the World. In this deck, it's Shakti, the Life Dancer. Then returns to the dreamer or the fool. Here she's not jumping off a cliff, but she is dreaming and putting her intention into the flow of time, into the stream with that great power of the horse behind her. Such a beautiful card, right? A different image than just jumping off a cliff. It's the dreamer starting to put things into action, into the quantum field, which of course the next card, the magician, or in this deck, the witch, she's literally starting a cauldron and drawing energy down and making that change happen. Cool, cool. So, interesting place to start off with in terms of rethinking, relooking at, retrograding is probably a good way to say it. Your fire and your earth with the Amazon. Really look at that. You want it. No question, you want it. It's just making sure you're in balance there. In balance, not imbalance. And with this card of where you are with the earth, what you have to get that. The dreamer. You have the dream. Reconsider it. Go deeper into it. Look at it from different angles. Which is great. Now we'll look at element of air. What you thinking, really? Mercury, air sign, as I said, you're an air sign. Sun, moon, rising, Venus, I don't care. Air is air, fire is fire, etc. But you really get that the retrograde is usually, because it's Mercury, about third eye beliefs, conclusions we draw that we need to kind of pull back and reconsider. And you have the Six of Blades, manipulation, which is totally right on the fucking nose with a Mercury retrograde. You're going to have to manipulate your mind and see things differently and kind of like, oh no, what about this way? And if I look at it, what if I do that? And what if I, reconsider, rethink, retreat if necessary to do that. Pull up. Even if you're in a room full of people, Aquarians, see, you're so friendly that it's easier for you to give friendly distance by just saying something like, no, I'm just contemplating something. I'm cool. How are you today? Right? Whoop. That you guys don't just pull back, you pull up, or at least you have the potential to. Because sometimes when an Aquarian ghosts you, they don't necessarily ghost you, they're just in their natural habitat at a distance. That's cool. That's how they are. That's why I have a lot of Aquarian friends that I adore, and I've come to learn that about them, because I ain't got no planets in aquariums. Let's look at emotions. I know we're going to look at your emotions, air sign. Let's see what could possibly be. The wish fulfillment card, Nine of Cups, Kuan Yin. So emotionally, this is about being chill. This is about going with the flow. It ain't a 10, it's a 9. Kuan Yin, the Chinese bodhisattva / goddess, depending on which you want to work with, I think both work for me, of contentment and compassion. Really, she's the face behind Kali. Kali is the destroyer, the awakener. Ruthless compassion. This is more the compassion with Ruth rather than without Ruth, baby, or otherwise. That with that softness, with that compassion, with that wish fulfillment, contentment, going with the flow. Not the 10, not ecstatic joy bouncing off the walls. That's the 10. This is the 9. This is very much at home and at peace within one's skin emotionally. Things going, things flowing. Why would you need to rethink that? We'll see. Maybe it's through the rethinking that you're more in that place of allowing things to unfold than trying to control. Last card down for at least this round. We're looking at here spirit, like now the point of view, because you're going to look at your air, your fire, your water, your earth, but from this higher spiritual perspective of Three of Blades, the focus. Now, thank God for other interpretations of the Three of Swords, right? Because everybody says heartbreak. The heart's not broken, and heartbreak's emotional. That would be a water card, but everyone's going to read it differently. But I'm a Virgo. Of course, I'm going to interpret it a little more literally or less literally than being stabbed in the heart, as much as it's about three swords focusing, right? Coming to the heart of the matter. So if you can really, from your higher distance, focus, it's a little contradictory in that you're going to go and see it from the largest vantage point, right? Like GPS POV, right? Point of view, but then focus. Can you hold a global focus? Now, for anybody else on planet Earth, the other 11 signs, I'd say, but Aquarians are good at it, right? It's that we are the world, we are the children. That go with your humanitarian part of it, the part of your higher principles, right? to see things from that place. I think it's going to make it, check your honor code. I just heard what's going on in your solar plexus. If something ever, I don't care, retrograde, schmetrograde, if something ever happens, you hear something or something pops into your energy field and your solar plexus goes, chances are it's something honor code. It's a form of intuition telling you that a boundary is being crossed ethically, usually in some way, shape, or form, but it's your personal one, right? So pay attention to that, particularly with this in your air sign, in your position of air, that Six of Blades, ferrying oneself, again, Rider-Waite Tarot, from choppy water to smooth. This can be prayer, this can be meditation, this can be contemplation, this can be communication, this can be journaling. A lot of the air stuff that's tricky during Mercury retrograde, nonetheless, something that you can do inside of yourself in terms of, well, let me see this from a larger point of view, from over here, from over here, from over here. You got me, you know what I'm saying. So, let's clarify. 5 angel cards, Healing with the Angels Oracle, Doreen Virtue. A couple of deep breaths for this one. Still point. My angels, there you are, please. For this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign, please, for this Mercury retrograde, 5 cards, top 5 cards, element spread. Please clarify what the gods have given here in this element spread, my angels. Please add to it your celestial point of view that we may heal with the angels this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign for this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, my angels, Maiden, Mother, Crone. There we go. Really quick. It's air. What can I tell you? We're going to clarify. You need to look at your element of fire, the chariot, right? I'm trying to get that shit moving forward. Ooh, with ideas and inspiration. Good. May not be time to put those ideas and inspiration into action, though, but you might be chomping at the bit, wanting to. Look, inspiration is very potent, but I think it was Abraham Hicks or somebody, I forget who said it, over the decades you hear so many different pieces of truth and takes on pieces of truth. You could be inspired to punch somebody in the nose, too. It doesn't necessarily mean that you do it, right? So inspiration is an interesting word in its true neutral sense. But I can feel that chomping in the bit, wanting to, come on, yeah, let's go, like to win the race. But the thing is timing is a little screwy during Mercury retrograde because we can't, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in this world anyway. Who the hell can? Even with the world's most brilliant intuitives, they don't know what's going to happen for themselves usually, right? I sure as hell don't. I'm a mystic. I surrendered that shit long ago. I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You show me, right? I don't recommend it. It's treacherous and fulfilling. But trying to control things and moving forward right now in terms of ideas and inspiration, I get it. Write them down. Don't necessarily tell them to everybody. Communication's a little weird, but journaling can be really good. Even video recording yourself, just like this, can be very, very therapeutic to help you get your ideas out that are in a safe, confidential way. Of course, therapy does the same, so does counseling, so does with a good friend that you take a fucking blood oath. Don't you tell anybody any of this stuff, because without that safety, you can't really get things off your mind. But certainly to rethink, maybe not the ideas and inspiration, but the when of it, if there's any impatience. Yeah. Whoa. Now, let's take a relook at what you have in Earth, which is, it's like you're ready. Your dream is there, right? It's like if you want to go traditional card of the Fool, it's like 1 foot's up, ready to go. You got a rose in your hand, you got a satchel, a dog yapping at your heels, you're ready to jump. Or are you? Is it the right time to? Let's see what the angels have to say here. Well. You got the Freedom card. I won't let you down. Look, you have the freedom to jump. You have the ability to do it. Is it the right time? The mind alone will drive you crazy with that because timing is not something the mind alone can do. Now, certain things, yes. If you have company coming at 7, and you've got a meal that takes 3 hours, you can calculate that shit to the best of your ability, but still, with phone calls and spills and shit that goes on, we can't really control it. I don't think we ever really could. But you certainly have the freedom right now, at least the freedom to dream. So since like signing contracts is a bad idea, you can take small steps of initiation. That this does not have to be jumping off a cliff in order to put your, let's say, your creativity into action through freedom, whatever this chariot is, this idea, this inspiration, bringing it down into form. But you do have the freedom to play with it as well. In other words, you could do these little things like, again, like for instance, channeling, right? Write down your ideas, but keep them secret. Keep it safe. Speaking of the element of air, I love this card, Six of Blades, and it is neutral. Yes, you can manipulate your mind in all sorts of different ways, pro or con, depending on what it is you're trying to do, particularly if you're trying to feed the fire, the air of thought, the desire, right, of supportive thought. What do the angels have to say about this card, the Six of Blades manipulation? Meditation. That's why we like divination. Comes right out. Meditate. But contemplate. Some people hear the word meditation and they instantly turn off, right? Because I can't stop my mind from thinking. That's like one part of meditation, and that's mostly Eastern. Western forms of meditation include hypnosis. People don't think of it that way, but they do. Trancing out on TV, right? That's why you go watch a YouTube video on somebody asked me if I would start doing meditations on YouTube. I'm like, I'll think about it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Just be interested in that, comment below. I've been leading meditation since I'm 20. I'm 51. So this idea of manipulating the mind, contemplation, meditation, hypnosis, counseling, but even if it's counseling, it's that thing of really to get clear, to focus upon, really not feeling a great big time for action with that going on in the mind during Mercury retrograde. However, I don't think you're too twisted about it. We're going to be too twisted about it because in the emotional, you've got the Nine of Cups, as I said, a very go with the flow. No, I'm chill. I'm cool. Actually, I'm really good on my own. Like, you know, when you're at a party and you may know some of the people, but maybe it's their house or their party. And, you know, you just like kind of have your drink or your food or whatever. And you're just like people watching in the corner. Like I'm a Virgo. I do that. And Aquarians, I know you do too, right? Pull back. See the larger picture. And just sort of chill and being at peace. Now, what I tend to do is silently bless people. Like everybody who comes like, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, gets my emotions flowing in that way, but not dependent upon anyone or anything. Like the Nine of Pentacles, the Lady of the Manor, where she got her own. She's not quite at a 10. Neither is this the Ecstasy card. What do the angels have to say about that? The card of intention with Nine of Cups. You may very well intend to get that 10th cup, to move this into that place. Intention is nothing more than the answers, the fused answers of what do I want and why do I want it. The why being the stronger thing. It's actually the engine that pulls the what into manifestation, right? What do I want? Lunch. Why do I want it? Hungry, right? Why do I want it? Bored is a little bit different than hungry, right? So so intention is really more about the why, the motivation, or the inspiration. And where do you have the inspiration? In your element of fire. Intention itself is the element of fire or an aspect of. So to chill with your intention, to feel good about your intention, and that thing of, you know what, maybe intuitively, you just not feeling it. It's like, you know what, I'm not feeling it's time to jump on this right now to make this happen. It is probably a very freeing idea. It will probably create a lot of change. Hence, the air thing saying here, make sure you're looking at this from all different angles. Play with it in your mind because the intention is there, but it is something that you can maybe relax a little bit. Float those last few feet, miles, what have you, for the 9 to become a 10. As we have in your spirit of position, the lens through which to see all this from, the card of focus with Witch, soulmate. All right, now, soulmate. There ain't no twin flame card in this deck, putting that down for a minute. So to focus on soulmate is a little bit crazy making, right? Soul contract. If there was a twin flame card in this deck, I would say, yes, then this is the contract, the soul contract that says you're here to help each other regardless of form of relationship. Twin flame, different soul contract. You teach each other how to love yourselves and heal yourselves because you can't really help each other heal. And the love that you give is rarely the kind of love the other wants, right? You can't give them the love that they want, but what they need. They're crazy. That's why you go watch the soulmate reads and the twin flame reads separately when I do them. So let's just say there is a focus here to really focus this in terms of your contracts. What are my contracts with people? Now, we don't know wholly, W-H-O-L-L-Y, what those are. We can only sort of guess. We can meditate. We can contemplate. Because if all of this is about a one-on-one relationship, that's understandable. Give this some time. Back it up. Mercury retrograde's not necessarily the time to leap. It is, however, a great time to dream and reconsider and think, contemplate, meditate, as we've said. But know that this is about you ultimately fulfilling your ends of soul contracts, right? You being clear and cool with you, hence this pulling back, right? Seeing it from that content, Kuan Yin, compassionate point of view, being the mate of your own soul, loving you. Yeah. That feels really cool. Great, we got our first 10 down. Let's get you a Chuck Spezzano Love Pack card. The Love Pack has 4 suits: the problem, the luck, the healing, and the grace. Let's see which one you get. Nice deep breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, please. That made me a little giggly. One card, please. A piece of the problem, a piece of luck, a piece of healing, or a piece of grace for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign, this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, just something for them to consider, to be aware of during this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020. Please, one card in clarity. My Ascended Masters for this Aquarian collective. Play. Play with it. Play with it in your mind. Don't take it so seriously, at least for this month, particularly soul contract, into relationships. Now, they are reminding me that, of course, you can get a whole bunch of soul contracts together and call it soul family, soul group. Absolutely. This could be about more than one. We do have the 3 of blades here, certainly indicating more than 2. But that can also just purely be for that idea of really coming together in focus. And by the way, there is maiden, there is mother, there is crone in this card, which is why I love that interpretation so much, right? So those 3 even aspects of emotional intelligence at work there. Pull back, see things through contract. Now, I will tell you, in terms of forgiveness, and so that you can play along, right? Because some soul contracts are just really fucking tough. To kind of get, if it could have happened any other way, it would have happened any other way. That's a good way to look back. That's a good way to retrograde and just say, hey, if there is a divine plan, then everything I did the best I could. I know I did. Maybe everybody else is. Maybe I've never done anything wrong. Maybe I need to let go of the belief that I'm doing something wrong all the time. That's Kuan Yin. That's kindness and compassion. Well, it's kindness to yourself and then compassion to others. Yeah. That card of play, lovely. Play your role. Play along. Play the game. I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's ask your higher selves, though, what they think about all of this, shall we? Nice deep breath. The higher selves of all involved. There you are, a still point. One card in clarity for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs for this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020, please. a piece of guidance and grace from the higher self collective. What is your whisper of love for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign? Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. Now, again, as we've been saying, Mercury retrograde in communication, tricky shit. Make sure you're prefacing things when you absolutely must communicate with somebody about something important. Just preface. That's the loving thing for yourself, to say, look, I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, so repeat back to me what you hear, or give me if you get. And it's not about you. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about me communicating myself correctly. Like, play along. Like, even being playful with words nowadays can really trigger people, because they may hear it differently than you say it, and there's nothing you can do about that. But if you preface things, if you are really being loving in your speech, like, it's okay a little softer, even in tone. That's going to lubricate this a little bit. But let's also be very clear. It says here, loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. Maybe that's part of your element of air here too, with meditation, right? And certainly that is going to influence your focus with any soulmate contracts, right? That if you're going to communicate at all, you're going to be loving. So here is a question that might help you on that. What would love say? What would unconditional love say? Right? I mean, people say, what would Jesus do? I'm like, what would Wonder Woman do? First of all, she'd snare your ass in that lasso and make you tell the truth. But that being said, goddess of truth, what would love do? What would compassion do? Okay, here, what would Kuan Yin do? What would Kuan Yin say? What would that loving kindness, compassion thing? Now look, that then becomes a spiritual practice that is with you every moment of the day. Not just for Mercury retrograde, but damn, a good time to start, right? What comes out of your mouth? Speak the language of love. One last card down, a healing mantra deck card. Matt Kahn. This represents the voices of the Ascended Masters, but I'm finding also the angels, because he works with both of those so heavily that they just seem to be orbiting this deck. So let's just have a look-see-duck-see. Now, there are two sides to every card, right? One side is the mantra itself, the other side, the name of the mantra, so that I can look it up in ye old bookie book, which has about a paragraph or so of info in it. It's not very much, but incredibly helpful, all right? This is going to be the mantra that's going to help you through all of this. So let's take a couple of nice mouth breaths. Come on, let's mouth breathe together. Still point. Oh, my Ascended Masters, I'm awake now. Please, one card in clarity. What is the perfect healing mantra for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury sign to focus upon, soulmate contract or otherwise, for this Mercury retrograde, February to March 2020, please, the perfect healing mantra for them. Right at the top, popped right into my hand. Let's see who you got. Rewiring the nervous system. Oh, I know this one. I find strength in surviving my traumas. I find strength in surviving my traumas. Now, trauma is a trigger word, right? But I don't know anybody who doesn't have them, right? And it's not just emotional trauma. People immediately put that into the emotional category in readings, but get that there are physical trauma centers. So there's physical trauma, emotional trauma, mental trauma, and even spiritual trauma. The idea of cardinal sin, that there are sins that not even God can forgive, that's a fucking trauma, because it can't be true. God is love. But that's me. To each their own. Blessed be. Oh, I'm rhyming. Thank you. Hermes. So that thing of I find strength in surviving my traumas is really a good thing to do. Good mantra for a retrograde, looking over the past. And look at how much you have endured and survived. I find strength in surviving my traumas. Let's read you that one. I was going to read it to you anyway. I schedule time for it. rewiring the nervous system. I find strength in surviving my traumas. When the nervous system is rewired, you are no longer trapped in the memories of your body. You are the courageous hero or heroine of your present reality, honoring every moment of hardship as the means through which your infinite strength and greatest depth of character is revealed. As you rewire your nervous system, you are no longer responding to life from the vantage point of your painful past, but instead are open to each encounter being more miraculous than the moment before. If you can hold that intention with the Kuan Yin, Nine of Cups, it feels like that's going to work for you. This mantra is ideal for adjusting to life after loss, and loss comes to everyone, healing heartbreak, and becoming more optimistic. And I think considering that speak the language of love, this is going to be something that you can speak. It's going to be very loving for yourself. But let's do this in a lovely magical clap overview, shall we? Magic clap. We start you off in the element of fire with the Amazon ideas and inspiration. Definitely saying it's there. There's a bit of bit chomping, right? Chomping at the bit here. These ideas and inspiration with that card of the Amazon, the Chariot, wanting to move forward with them, maybe whipping the horses when that is not the wisest thing during a retrograde. And what you have is the freedom of the dreamer, of the fool. You kind of do have the freedom of the leap of faith right now, but is it the wisest time to do so? Again, we're not completely sure because we've got in the element of air the Six of Blades, manipulation with meditation. So there's still some more thinking, and of course that's a good thing during Mercury retrograde. You want to consider, think about, review, rethink all of the re's, right? Even perhaps there might be some rebirth and revitalization in this as a result of you not necessarily plowing ahead into something you may not be wholly, W-H-O-L-L-Y, wholly ready for, or maybe the world is not wholly ready for, because honestly, within your earth position with that freedom and the Fool, you are kind of ready. I just don't know it's the right time yet. And yet in that water position there, you've got Kuan Yin, the Nine of Cups, going with the flow, that this does not have to be a horrible thing, but your intention is going to, like I intend for this to be done in the perfect timing and place, and I'll know when that is. The divine will hand me that, right? Because looking from the soul's point of view, the spirit's point of view, that top position, I'm going to focus on perhaps my relationships in this. I'm going to focus perhaps on my soul contracts. If other people are involved here, I'm going to maybe discuss this with them, but in a way that I'm going to speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. Including my own means that maybe I need to kind of speak this, but to really preface it with saying, look, it's Mercury retrograde. I just want to make sure the air is clear. This isn't about an argument. This isn't about a differing of opinions, even if we do differ. It's about bringing as much clarity as possible, and no huge decisions or choices need to be made right now, particularly with that card of play from the Ascended Masters. Now, I know I've jumped around from Higher Self to Ascended Master, but there it is. It's really speak the language of love. Be honest. Be loving, particularly the words to yourself in that Six of Blades manipulation meditation aspect of the element of air, but then play as well, which is the luck suit, that you have some time to play with this, and maybe it's through play and enjoyment that you are able to see this again from that Aquarian higher place. Your healing mantra here about rewiring the nervous system, I find strength in surviving my traumas, allows you that retrograde point of view to see the past, that you have the strength. That's probably why you are free to dream and eventually take this leap. Whether or not your soul contracts are totally ready for that, we don't know, and that might be exactly why they're saying play the game, speak the language of love, and perhaps slow this down until Mercury goes direct, which, by the way, will be going direct on the 9th of March, and it is a full moon in Virgo. So, a really good time for when the moon rides at its peak. Then, ye heart's desire, seek. And there we have it, my Aquarian Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury signs. A very, very interesting read for my aqua lungs. But I get it. There's a lot of air in here, and you really, I mean, you have ideas and inspiration, and the Three of Blades, and the Six of Blades, and even that card of the Dreamer, which does certainly conjure more air necessarily than water, particularly with the card of freedom, speaking the language of love and air thing communication. So take your time and really work that mantra. I find strength in surviving my traumas. So as shit pops up, maybe traumas from the past emerge. It is retrograde, right? That you might be triggered by something in the current soul contracts that might be about past ones. Very, very possible, right? So may the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising Sun, Moon, Rising Mercury signs be blessed with all that they need this Mercury retrograde to heal, to grow, to expand, to become, to clarify their intention, to play, to speak the language of love, to manipulate the mind as needed with meditation for the well-being of all, fulfilling their part in the divine plan. So mote it be, and so it is. Please do like and subscribe, my Aquarians. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can do other cool, fun shit on YouTube. But for now, wishing you the very best and the very blessed as I sign off. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.